You've done it.
Good girl. You did great. Oh my God, that's so spooky. Welcome to America's Breadbasket, where contrary to popular belief, we don't all live on a farm in the middle of the prairie.
All right.
Yeah.
Milk the cow.
That's why I'm taking a series of field trips, literally, to meet some women who are a lot like me, except they're farmers. Let's find out what's happening in the heart of our country's ag industry.
My name is Kara Purdue. Agriculture has always been a very important part of my life. I feel fortunate that my husband and I can raise our 4 kids on our family farm, and that we can tell our story to consumers to help them make a better, more informed decisions when they go to the grocery store.
Welcome to Beauty View Farm here in Wahoo. My name is Melissa Knetsky. This is my family's dairy farm. Here we milk cows, dairy cows. We also raise corn, soybeans, alfalfa, and rye. So if we're not taking care of cows, we're usually busy with all that stuff. But our main goals here are milk cows, take care of cows, make sure everything runs smoothly.
Well, we're so excited to be here today to see how your farm works and how you treat the animals that live here.
Probably one of the coolest things about the dairy farm is sanitation. Sanitation is key because we are handling a food product. The tank itself is cleaned at least every day, and then all of the machines that milk a cow that are used twice a day, those are actually cleaned about 8 times a day. So welcome to the next most important place on the dairy farm, which is going to be the parlor. So this is where we milk cows. So typically the cows are going to enter from the back, then into their little pen here. So they'll get closed in, or then we'll wash them with water. We have a soap that we'll then put on each of their teats. And then we take a paper towel, wipe them off, and make sure that they're 100% clean. So it'll take about 5 minutes for one cow to be fully milked out. And they are milked twice a day. So we'll milk in the morning, and then again at night is how we do it. Some will do 3 times, but typically we just do 2. Then is run into the big clear tanks. That way we can kind of watch their milk production. If it drops for any reason, then we know something's wrong. We know that they're sick.
And what do you do when their udders are infected, or how do you kind of keep track of keeping them healthy as far as there's a lot going on twice a day?
Yes, great question. So they do get sick, just like any human. There's stuff everywhere. So just like when I would get sick and go to the doctor, we'll either call our vet. We have a vet that'll come to the farm and visit us. He'll kind of help us look at what's going on, how's her rumen inside of her stomach working, how's everything looking. Typically it's 48 hours that once she's been treated, you cannot use that milk for 48 hours. Her milk will be disposed of every time she comes in for that 48 hours so that it never enters into the tank.
And what do you feed the cows to get them to produce so much milk? Is
Yes.
there like a special diet for a dairy cow versus a feedlot cow?
Yes, they do get fed specifically to produce milk, and we do work with a nutritionist that puts together basically a formulation for us on feed of what to feed them to make sure that they are producing. Go ahead, give her a try.
Doesn't matter which one.
No, doesn't matter which one.
Oh,
I promise you won't hurt her. There you go, you did it.
do you need to like even them out?
Did she-
This is.
She's like,
She's like, right in the milk. What are you doing?
so one of the very first questions that we always get being a dairy farm is why are the calves separated from the cows? Unlike with beef cows where they're kept together for the first, how many months of their lives, dairy cows and calves are separated. So the reason being, the cows aren't always very maternal, so they're not always as good of moms as you would like. Occasionally they'll step on them, anything like that. We just try to avoid that.
Is that a common approach with most farm animals? So if you had goats or pigs or chickens, well, I don't know how chicken works, but do you separate them from their mom right away like a dairy cow, or is it more like a beef cow?
So like Melissa was saying, yeah, with beef cows, they're going to stay with their moms for most of the time until they're ready to be weaned. But like with hogs, we put them usually in crates, and that's another reason that you put the moms in the crate is because it keeps the piglets safe. A lot of times if the mom's like they're 350 plus pounds, so they could easily squash or lay on like a piglet, not even meaning to, but just in the process of sitting down. So it really keeps the piglets safe from their moms.
When livestock such as cattle and pigs are housed in confined spaces, this is often for the safety of the animal. Shelter is necessary to protect animals from predators, disease, and dangerous weather.
Well, thank you guys for coming, and I hope you enjoyed the tour. Is there any questions that you have on the care or treatment of animals, or anything else we can answer for you today?
I think for me, I'm curious about the difference between having animals in feedlot versus free range. I noticed that you have both. So is one healthier than the other? Does one treat the animal better?
First comes down to, what is the farm able to do? What can they handle? What system works best for them? In an ideal world, we'd all love to have our cows free range, but we know that that's for the health of the animal. That's not always the best option.
I will say, as a consumer, driving down the interstate and seeing cows in a trailer or like the cages of chickens, and they all look far too cozy. Talk to me about that process. Like, is that something that I should be concerned about?
So in transport, you have to be very careful with animals, because if you give them too much room to move around, then they can get hurt as well. So like chickens, we transport them in cages because we all know that chickens are not always the nicest animals to each other, like hence the pecking order. So when you give them a small group, then they don't have as much room to move around and as much area to pick on other animals.
Well, thanks for coming today. We appreciate you coming out, asking the questions. We always love when people come out and ask questions, because how else are you going to learn? So hopefully you learn something and take it home and share it with your friends.